Hello all, welcome to the DevOps Planet. So far we have seen about the Docker. So we have seen how to launch a Docker container, how to create a image from the running Docker container, what is Dockerfile, how to write a Docker file and other things. So in today's video, we will see more about the Dockerfile. We will see how to copy its file in a running Docker container, how to execute a script when we launch a Docker container and other commands. So in my previous video, we write a Docker file. So this is the Docker file we write in my previous video, and using this we install the Apache 2. We start the Apache 2 and we update the content of the index.html file to this content. So in today's video, we will go some advanced level. So we will see how we can copy the our local files inside the Docker container images, how we can execute a script whenever Docker container launch. So I have already written one index.html file on my local system, and there is a one image file that is needed from my index.html file. So that is already present here. Now I'm editing the same Docker file again so that we can see that what changes we are going to do here. So first of all, the same we download the one to image, one to latest image, then we will update the repository, then we will set the argument that we want the non-interactive mode, and then we will install the Apache 2. So till now the things are same, but from here last time we update the index.html file, but in today's video I will copy the existing index.html file inside the Docker container. So for that command is copy command. That is the command we need to pass inside the Docker file. And here I need to pass the source file, that is index.html, and here I need to pass the destination file. So I will copy this file to this folder, that is the default folder for Apache 2 server. Now also, as I said, that I need that image file to work with my index.html file. So I need that image file also. So I'm copying that also in the same location. So now when I'm copying the index.html file, so I'm removing this step because I am copying it from my local machine. So this time I'm removing this step from my Docker file. Now the next is to start the Apache 2 containers, Apache 2 service. So when we launch a container, we start the Apache 2 service, and then service must be started, must be in the running state. It should be keep alive always. So we execute this command last time. So now let's see how we can execute this command in a different way. So let me save this file first. So now let me first write a bash file, that is, so I'm creating a script.sh file, and let me write one command here to install the Apache 2. So that command is, so I'm going to execute that command. So I'm passing the execute command here, Apache ctl -d, and I'm going to run it in foreground mode because I want my Apache 2 to keep alive always. So I'm saving this file. So as you can see, I have written this script.sh file. Now I need to copy this file inside the Docker image. Or so for this, again I'm opening my Docker file, and the same way I will write down the copy command script.sh, and I'm copying this into the user login bin folder. So here I will copy this file. If you want to pass the name, then it's up to you, or if you will remove it, then it will copy the same by a same name here. So for the other files also, if you want to pass the name of the file, that is fine. If not, then it will uh, copy from the same name in the destination. So now it will copy the script.sh file into this location, user login bin. Now I need to change the permission of this file because this is a bash file, so I need to make it executable. So for this, I'm going to execute the run command. So run command. It will execute when the Docker image will create. So bin script.sh. So now in my Docker image, I will copy a file. I will change the permission of this file. Now the next is I want to execute this file when my container will launch. So for this, I'm going to use the command that is entry point. So entry point is a kind of gate from which will be start whenever Docker container launch. So whatever command, whatever script we will pass in the entry point, that script will execute once the Docker container launch. So I will simply write my script name here like this. Now in this script.sh, we have already written command to start the Apache 2 in the foreground mode. So I don't need this CMD here. So I'm removing it. And that's how we write a Docker file to launch the Apache 2 container, to install Apache 2 on that and copy our some local files on that container and execute the entry point scripts. So let me save this. So we have written the Docker file here. So let me check too. Okay, we have one mistake here, that is the path. So it is not login, it is local. So let me get this. Save it. So now we can see we have one Docker file. These are our index.html file and logo.png file, which is needed to host on the Apache 2 server. And this is the script which will start the Apache 2 service. And we are executing this script in the Docker point. So now let's see what image we have right now. So let me execute this command. Okay, so currently we have one image so that we created in our last video using the old Docker file. Now let me create a new image and this time I will give it the tag version 2. So the command is sudo docker build. I need to pass the location of my Docker file, that is the current directory -t and then demo version 2. And also as I show you that I don't want to use any cache here. So I'm passing hyphen no cache. Now let's press enter. So once I press enter, you will see it will execute all those commands one by one. So first it execute the apt get update. So it is updating the repository. And you can also see it give us the count that there are currently 7 commands written in my Docker file, and the command 2 or command 3 is executing. So once the once the repository updated, it is installing the Apache 2, and we have already set the parameter that we don't want any interactive mode, so it will install the Apache 2 without asking any parameters. So it will take some time, let it be. Okay, so it installed the Apache 2, then we see the output, it copy the file, it copy all these file, and then it change the permission, and the entry point is the command which will execute whenever container will launch. So now let me launch a container with this newly created images. So let me check what images we have. So now we have the version 2 image here. So let me execute launch a container. So the command is sudo docker run. So I'm passing the name as demo2 and I'm passing the image version 2 here. So version 2 is the latest image which we have created just now. So we can see it has launched one container. So if I execute the sudo docker ps command, so one container must be running. So there is some problem in my Docker file. So let me check that. So this looks fine to me. Let me check our script.sh. We have an issue here. Okay, yeah. So we forget this. So that's why this Docker container launch, but it stopped immediately. So now let me create that image again. So so I created version 2 that so in this version we have some error. So let me create the new version. So I am executing again the same command which I execute last time, this one, and I'm changing the version 3. So now again it will create a new image. So let it be. We have already seen all these steps. So our Docker image has been created. So let me check. Yeah, so we have one new Docker image that is created just now. So now let me launch the Docker container using same command, and I'm changing the image version and also the name of the container. This is demo underscore 3. So it will launch a Docker container. That is done. So let me check whether the Docker is containerizing or not. So we can see our Docker container has launched. The name is demo3 and it is running. So as we know that we copy these two files, index.html and logo.png, in our default Apache 2 root directory, that is where www.html. So let's try to access the Apache 2 server on the browser. So for this, first let me get the IP. So I'm using the docker inspect command here. Okay, let me write the name demo3. So it does give us the detailed information. So let me copy the IP. Let me go to the browser and paste this IP. Yeah. So we can see that this is the image, and this is the basic HTML code I write on that file. So we can see it is working fine. So in this video, we saw that how we can copy our local files inside our Docker container and Docker images, how we can execute a script when our Docker container launch. So you can write any command in this file, whatever you want. You can write a number of commands. There is no limitations, and all those commands will execute as a bash script. So you need to write a bash script here, and that will execute. If you want to execute any Python command, any Python script, so that is also doable. You need to define the Python command here in the entry point, and that Python file will execute. So you can pass the Python command with the file name and it will execute. So that's how we can define the entry point. We can copy the file. So I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching this.